motion papers.
FTC was.
Are we ready? What? The one I have a picture of? He's just back.
Making his own way up.
I'll just write it on the back.
Anytime, Dick, you can sit down when it starts.
Search on it.
All right.
Oh, not you.
Although Greenville treated me better than Jason.
That's what I can't figure out.
You sign in?
Yeah, I think so. We'll-
Everybody sign in?
You know more about than I do.
One time the lights
That's a
went
long
on,
story.
had to come in and rewire the lights.
Rewire a lot of things.
No bid.
I'm just gonna write it on the back.
Talk trash about the killing.
Okay, if everybody's ready. Good evening. I'm going to call the Law Enforcement Committee meeting to order at 6:05 PM. Commissioner Odom, could I get a voice roll call, please?
Lisa Childress,
Here.
Avery Wynn.
Here.
Bob Smith.
Here.
Thomas Prophet.
Here.
Gary Prophet.
Here.
Nick Holder.
Here.
I think.
Auction candy.
Can I get a motion approval of agenda as written?
I make a motion.
I'll second it. Give it to Jerry.
Hold on a second. Here it goes. I did it. Who's second and who first? Sorry.
I'll second he first.
It appears to be recording. Could I get a motion, please, for the approval of the minutes from the August meeting?
Second. I'll second the motion.
Obviously, no public comments. I do have on number 6 on the agenda, under new business, I have Ms. Abby Fry here, and she's going to talk a little bit about an application for a grant through the Tennessee Corrections Institute.
Last year, the Tennessee Corrections Institute, which is the state body that inspects and certifies our jail, started a grant program to help departments purchase training materials and equipment. That was one of the things they were seeing as they went around the state, that the departments were having trouble meeting that need because of budget constraints. Last year, they did a $10,000 grant. It was zero match. We applied, got it. We were able to update some of our training equipment items for the corrections division with like the Red Man suit for their defensive tactics training, strike bags, training batons, training cartridges for the tasers. This year, they're doing the same grant program, but they've upped it to $15,000. There's still zero match required, so I've already filled out the application. We should hear something later this month, whether we've gotten it or not. So that'll be $15,000 of free money for the county to use to purchase training supplies for the corrections division. And this year, since they upped the funds, they also open it up to where we can buy safety gear for the cell extraction team at the jail. So we are going to be able this year, if we get the grant, to purchase stab-proof vests and the body armor for our corrections officers if they have to go into a big fight or a riot situation. And also we're working to get the federal inmate contract back. If we had a federal inmate that was classified as extremely violent, the officers transporting them for their court appearances could wear these stab vests, the forearm and shin guards to help make them safer in doing their jobs. We're also going to be updating the tasers that they carry for their CERT team and for transports, and just a few other little things that we need to get supply-wise for the training. It even covers office supplies, so like if we have to make handouts for a class, or if we needed to buy PowerPoint so we could do a training class presentation, we can do that with it as well.
And you got the grant last year?
We did.
And it was 10,000, so they've upped it up to 15,000.
Yes.
That is wonderful, but 15 grand's not going to flip it. I mean, you talking about a lot of money for all that equipment. And I know, and it's way in excess of 15,000, but that's a start.
With what we've got budgeted for this is going to purchase 8 stab vests, 8 sets of the elbow forearm guards, 8 sets of the knee shin guards, So we will have 8 full sets of the body armor for the guys responding to critical incidents in the jail or doing transports. And then adding into that, flex cups, pepper balls, the training OC spray that they use, the pepper spray, the training version of that. It's also going to purchase ammunition. So when we have our transport officers that get certified to carry a firearm in these transports, we can pay for the ammunition used on their range days, because it's anywhere from 50 to 100 rounds to certify an officer one time. They certify twice a year. And if we have 10 officers certifying twice a year, that can be 2,000, 3,000 rounds of ammunition. But we've got everything budgeted out to be able to purchase these items within the 15,000. We're very frugal, and I'm not above calling vendors and saying, hey, we're a poor county, can you cut me a deal?
How long will it take to get it?
We should hear something later this month. And that's one of the reasons I'm bringing it through now, is because they're hoping the contracts will start October 15th, which would put it before your October commission meeting. And we do need your permission to sign the contract if we get it. We would have to have everything purchased and in the building by the end of May, which is the end date on their contract. So that way that gives us the month of June to reconcile invoices before the state closes out their fiscal year. The lead time on these is anywhere, some things we could have it in a few days, some things it might be 4 to 6 weeks. But once we get that contract approved in October, we get the grant, we will already go ahead and start purchasing. Our vendors are alerted that, hey, we will be contacting you in October to get this started.
So all you need is a motion now?
A motion to give us the authority to accept the grant and sign the contract should it be awarded.
I'll make that motion.
I mean,
I was way ahead.
I know, guys.
don't get mad at me, I didn't did it.
Which one of y'all flip a coin?
JL got here who did, I did it.
Whichever one don't, the other can second.
Okay.
You're easy.
I'm expensive though.
It's before we take,
Let me ask a question. Ma'am,
Yes.
since you are kind of affiliated with the sheriff's department to some extent, I don't know who would do it. And the sheriff, I don't know if he's even looked at it or not, but the second floor or third floor has not been completed ever. Is there any way at all that a grant maybe might take care of some of that?
We've been searching for a lot of different grants. Right now, most of the grants that are geared towards law enforcement are geared towards reducing recidivism through recovery programs, education programs. We found one that was going to be really beneficial in creating a sexual assault investigator position, but it is for rural underserved areas with a county population of more than 140,000. I'm not sure where you have a rural county in Tennessee that has a population of under 140,000
Johnson County.
or over 140,000.
Johnson County.
We didn't qualify for that, but I'm searching weekly at least, if not daily, through the federal grant database and the state grant database.
We identify as 140,000 since you can do that now.
Not my place.
We need the wording of the motion.
It's amazing that you put a choo-choo trail to North Carolina.
Sheriff's Department.
You take care of our jail.
Apply for
Make a motion for them to apply for the
the
15.
$15,000 grant.
Why in it?
Accept it.
we be able to sign the contract.
Yes.
Okay. Motion to approve. Apply. Accept
Commissioners need all that on.
and sign.
Yes.
Don't you?
And if you will read that motion back just aloud, so we'll make sure that we've got.
Shin-Guard special.
For a $15,000.
It's an ice hockey outfit.
Does it say who the grant's to?
Tennessee Corrections.
From the Tennessee Corrections Institute.
That would be the one who'd be awarding it.
Okay, I'm trying to type fast and she's not here. Okay. I've got Jerry Province made a motion to approve Sheriff's Department to apply, accept, and to sign for $15,000 grant from the Tennessee Correction Institute, and Nick Holder seconded it. So where it's money, we need to.
It's, before we vote, any further discussion? Any other comments? Commissioner Odom, if you'll do a roll call vote, please.
Todd,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Jerry.
Yes.
You made the motion. Avery. Thomas.
Yes.
What are you gonna do with Jerry?
Jerry would vote down free money.
Let's not vote down free money. Okay, that takes care of everything that I have is new business. I don't have any old business. Before we adjourn, any commissioner comments?
Abby, y'all are doing a great job over there.
Thank you. I just want to give you an update. Last week, the Marshal Service did come in and do a re-inspection on the jail. We are hoping to hear soon on the federal contract for the inmates. They seemed pleased with their visit. They didn't note any deficiencies that they spoke to us about. So at this point, we're just waiting on Washington DC at this point. They can't set a rate for the contract until the federal budget is passed and ready to go in October. So that's what we're waiting on at this point.
Wonderful news.
How soon could that start? If it's passed and.
Once the federal budget's passed, they'll come back to us with a draft contract and the number. If we like the number, we'll bring the contract through you guys, then budget and then full commission. If it's not a good number, we'll haggle with them and then bring it to you.
First of the year, we're looking to start possibly.
Potentially, depending on what they do in Washington DC. Because they can't do contracts on a continuing budget resolution. So if they put it off till November and vote again, it'll be after the actual full budget's approved, not just a continuing budget resolution.
Good deal.
That's wonderful news.
Make a motion to adjourn. Second.
Thank you.
Who was the second, Avery? You got one in there after all.
Abby, I believe we need to be updated on the Toby syndrome.
As the Tennessee Highway Patrol investigated that case, we'll leave the update to you.
He's no longer with the highway patrol.
There's the, oh,
You gotta hear that one. That's true. I gotta tell you about the Toby thing sometimes. It happened.
I don't have nothing. Daniel didn't have nothing. Not set out agenda, but.
that's short, sweet, and to the point.
What?
Rules of bylaws. Rules of bylaw.
I don't have nothing.
Oh, he's asked to review the rules of bylaws.
Oh, yeah, for right now.
Okay. Something that's bothered me since I was a commissioner. The first meeting, I was asked to vote on something that I knew nothing about. Is there any way that we can bring a resolution or anything to the full commission about newly elected commissioners not having any votes for them to, such as the, if I'm not mistaken, the very first meeting I was asked to vote on the convenience station price increase. I knew nothing about what was going on until I got that piece of paper in my hand. Probably none of the other new commissioners knew anything about it. So every 4 years when they have a commission meeting, the first meeting, is it possible to not have any votes in that meeting?
I would think that's probably state law.
State.
You're saying that first meeting not to have no votes?
You're not required to meet 12 times a year. So I don't think that it would necessarily be covered by state law.
Well, as far as elected officials.
But isn't that like the months when you coming in, there's a lot still coming in?
From the previous commission.
But I mean, like, I don't know if things could be with, like payments or budgets or something.
But something like that's different. I was asked to vote on convenience station price increases. I had never heard about the increases going on. I know I could have abstained, but I had no idea what was going on. It be brought up for discussion.
Yes, I mean, yeah. Jump
Here, like, Josh is holding us up.
Just waiting on the question. Of course, the process is, as an individual commissioner, you know, if you don't feel like you have the information to know exactly what you're voting on, you simply abstain. You know, the chairman of the county commission would set the agenda and the items to be voted on. And if you felt like you weren't prepared or didn't have the information, you could certainly ask or make a motion to defer what was being voted on to the next meeting, or if they move forward and consider that item anyway, you could abstain from voting. But certainly every elected commissioner, even on the very first meeting, has the full right to vote.
And has no idea what they're voting.
Although you don't set the
Stuff
agenda.
to this day, I ain't figured out what I was voting on.
Right. So that's the only option you got, is abstain yourself personally. If your plea to, you know, have it deferred didn't work. But certainly nothing you can do to take away even a new commissioner's vote at any point in time. And the chairman, he or she sets the items that are on there to be voted on. And it is true that, well, we certainly aren't required to meet every month. It's quarterly, right? But, you know, we usually meet every month. But again, that's a chairman decision. And that's why it's so important who gets elected as the chairman or chairperson, chairwoman. But yeah, you definitely get a vote on every issue. Nobody can take that away from anybody, as long as you're a sitting commissioner.
What about deferring it? If he made a motion to defer, is that 2/3 or is majority?
No, well, generally, if it's just a motion to postpone something to the next meeting or a set time, then no, it's just a majority vote. But everybody's, you know, you got to get a majority of the commissioners to agree with you. But some items, you know, theoretically, everybody thinks everything's an emergency, but sometimes there's, you know, items, especially budget committee items, that need addressing every month. And it's everybody's responsibility to make sure you're prepared. And I know you may or may not get all the information you feel like you need, but that's the process. So certainly you could explain your point of view and ask for it to be put off and see if you can get a majority of the commissioners to agree with you. Somebody had talked about a rule once. I mean, it's never been instituted, that maybe brand new commissioners wouldn't be elected chairman, because at least I know, and I saw, well, I have in past commissions too, you know, it's almost a duty that gets forced on the new people because others don't want to do it. I certainly think a rule like that, in my opinion, for whatever that's worth, would be beneficial if maybe brand new first year commissioners didn't take on the role as chairman after they've been through the process and seen how things work. That sounds like a good idea, but you got a few more years to worry about that again.
Well, I think it helps if we get our packets in time to look things over. I know this last time there was a little, you know, short thing in that, but maybe that would be it too, you know. Or maybe now that everything's online, you know, for the new ones coming in, they'll be like, you know, we can't just start watching, you know, now that they're online, they can start watching ahead of time or attending the meetings to where when it does come up, you're familiar maybe too. But we didn't have it always on then. What do you think?
That makes sense the way it's explained.
Are we in general discussion at this point on anything? I was going to bring it up to Daniel if we had met this month. How many of y'all actually look at the meetings online?
I ain't figured out how to get them yet.
I do watch like the budget and it might take me 3 days to do, but I don't watch it all at one time.
Right. The shaking from the cameras is multiplied by 10 now. It's just like this.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know if I watched or if I just listened to it. I probably just more or less just
That's,
play and.
we really need to, maybe next month here in budget, talk about getting this, I guess, bad.
The air. They say it's the
The
air.
air conditioner unit vibrating the wall.
I think the tech guy, Anthony said that when they come in to do the updates, that's on the list, I'm pretty sure to update. Because I know we had a couple of citizens that said the same thing, that they would almost get sick trying to watch them.
Oh, yeah.
They told me.
Where's Anthony's office here?
Not from the content.
He doesn't have one.
Yeah, not from the, well, I don't know, it depends
He's
on.
under contract with Sequoia County.
Yeah, it would just shake, and it does, that's why I just listen to it. It's hard to watch it where it does vibrate. Wow. It looks like we're having an earth.
Sorry. Get you all out in the hall here in a minute.
It's kind of like an earthquake at certain times when the air kicks on.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And I know there's ways to stabilize that. I do hours at church, and we have air ducts everywhere, and we don't have that anymore.
Bring some
The
ducks.
air handler unit for this courtroom is almost directly above that camera.
Put one there, put one there.
Yeah.
One of the quotes that we received put multiple cameras in here, and it was decided to go with the less expensive one, which had one camera.
And probably what the county paid for these cameras back then is probably half of what it was then, because the technology and other things are way ahead of what those were. The ones we had were much better.
Thought you could just bring
That
that.
one actually has stabilizers in it.
Nice.
Duct tape fixes everything, at least. I mean, anything would be good to stabilize it until then, seriously. I mean,
You'll come in here one day and I'll have Ron's ladder and a roll of duct tape up there.
Hey, it makes it feel a lot of people would appreciate it. Or just making sure that it's on. I know it's not a requirement. I know sometimes that they can't get it going. But a lot of people, some that do watch it really like to know that the live stream's on. And I appreciate it. I mean, right now, I have one child and now I have a second one in my home. And they're in ballet and piano and everywhere else. But I really love being able to hear all the meetings. I learned through budget, I learned so much coming to those meetings that I wanted to learn that whole process. Not because I want to be on budget. I just gotta know what we're talking about. But I know it's weird, but I like hearing what we're talking about so we understand it more. But for some that can't come down here to every meeting, it does help having access. And if you want help to find it, Avery, I'll help you find it.
I was gonna write down.
Oh, okay, good.
We could
I
have
live
classes.
way down in Rome.
Yeah.
It's 25 miles from my house.
Yeah.
You can come to every meeting.
I know, you're far ahead, so leave us alone.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the big pushes, is we should get it back up and running when it goes down.
Mhm.
We wanted it as much, yeah.
He's far out. Donnie's far out. I don't mean far out.
Julie's a little bit
Like,
farther,
live far away.
Julie's a little bit farther down than I am. And she's just a couple miles closer than I am.
Praise God, I'm close by, or I wouldn't.
Hopefully by next month we'll have appraisals on the Mason's Lodge. I would think we would.
Yeah, they've got the appraisal back. But
Let me ask you something.
I don't know what it.
That blew my mind. Have they moved?
There's just not enough to have a building, I don't guess.
I saw that and I thought, wow, I belong to that place.
Well, you should know what's happening, then tell us what that concrete thing that lifts up is.
I don't think they knew.
Say what? A concrete thing that lifts up?
When we toured it,
It's part of the floor.
it was part of the floor and they lived it, and there was like this big drain in the floor, and the guys that are there, said they don't even know what it's for.
Money.
Money.
I didn't know it was there. I belong, but I never go to the meetings. But I thought, I heard a mistake. got the lot.
He just said there's not enough, and the building's just big, I guess.
You know, he said they were gonna have to raise dues by so much because their numbers have gotten so low, it'd be ridiculous.
Okay, you too.
Yeah, well, it's like everything else.
So in the appraisal, it also shows, in the appraisal, it would also show any of the testing or anything on the building, right?
To a point.
If you requested it,
Huh?
if you requested it as part of the appraisal.
We need to listen for that and that appraisal.
Or, pardon me, but does the county have intentions of leasing the entire building?
Not leasing it, purchasing it.
Purchasing.
Well, it's, yeah, but it's,
Possible
There's
purpose.
there's a basement and everything else.
we went through it. Where were you, Jerry?
I don't know.
You should have come for a tour of the place you're supposed to meet at.
The archives, they have almost $750,000 put aside just for this.
Yeah, they have money on it.
Mine goes off, mine's got a notification, I don't know how I did it.
It's a
So if you
decent building,
go and watch it,
it's air conditioning, you have a kitchen, you can go with while you look at the archives. Have food.
I think there was some questions about pipes.
Yeah, there's some.
Still lead pipes.
Just figure.
Chairman?
yeah, and
That one's already just
this
missed.
is that.
We're just chatting.
Oh, well, that's all vote.
The
There's a
subscription's done.
refrigerator in that room in there and have water in it. Why not? You know? Or something enough.
Actually,
They can
I know you're from Mountain City. We're afraid what you might bring down off that mountain.
appreciate it.
I think that refrigerator's just in there for when they have jury trials and
Brightspeed took over the internet down there.
And stuff is just.
But I haven't had to do surgery in 8 years.
really.
Uh-oh.
Get down for that.
I can't do it. I know too many people that would probably be on trial.
you go back and watch a meeting.
You couldn't sit still to.
No, I could not. And I would already cry for him. So I couldn't do it.
You'd be the one, can I ask a question?
I would, of course. I'd be like, this is a learning, and I've never done.
I guess we're done, aren't we?
Yeah, we had already adjourned. Everybody, I guess, I mean, that meeting.
Prolong everybody's time here, but
Oh, you're fine. If you have a question, that's all.
I'll be quick. My wife will expect it every meeting, then we're out of it.
You become a burden
I think
to us.
we adjourned. I think.
We're going home, we're not done.
We're done.
No, I
You're done, Jerry. You can be here.
turn lights out when you leave, Jerry.
Okay. You go back.
I'm going to. I was going to lunch dates.
Lunch dates.
Yeah, I sure do.
But
don't I?
I'm glad you spoke up. Because
No.
I need to tell you the other day.
I'm like, do you have
First-
you had a very good.
Little bit.
He needs to turn that off.
And that extension sounds good. Be a lot of those things I've started doing.
Too, because if I don't know it, I'm not gonna vote.
Well, I've done, what everybody else thinks is good, I'll go with.
That's just the way things
The
are.
only ones I ever do are like grandparents, step parents, and the parents are all alive and they agree. I don't even have to do
I was
this.
fortunate not to.
That might be what it